Hi everyone, welcome to another session. In this video, we are going to discuss Take Grant model. Uh, that is another model which is also part of CISSP exam course. So, in this particular model, Take Grant model is only used for security analysis. It is not for policy enforcement. That is very important concept which we need to understand. It is only for security, uh, for security analyst or for security analysis, not for policy enforcement. It helps in understanding how permission could spread within system, but it is not a real-time access control mechanism like role-based access control, attribute-based access control. So, in with this model, security analyst tries to identify uh, the security permissions, right? So, for instance, let's check this image. For instance, here x x is uh, X is a subject. The all boxes in blue color, they are subjects, and the boxes which are highlighted in yellow color, they are objects. You can see uh, take, T, T for take, G, grant, R, read, and W, write. So, for instance, in one system, let's assume that this particular subject X, right, does not have access uh, to object Z. It could be a file system, it could be anything, right? So, but Y has access, write access to object Z. So that means if Y has W access, write access to object Z, and X has only take writes from Y, then Y can X can take W access of object Z from Y, right? So here you can see, so now X subject has also write access to object Z. So that means Y has provided write access to X object. Okay, this is take writes. There is another, um, for instance, grant writes. So here access has X has write and read access to object Z, right? And X can provide grant rights, right? So that means if X has R has read write access to object Z, and X has grant rights for Y, that means X can grant W write access of object Z to Y, right? Similarly here. So I think this is how, if one subject has take access, um, has take if one subject has take access, he can provide to another subject. If subject has grant access, that subject can provide um, grant access to another subject. So the thing is, so if this is how the permission exists in the existing system, uh, this way security analyst can analyze it, right? So for instance, let's take one example, Google Drive, and see how it fits within take grant model analysis. For instance, user X has a Google Drive folder, right? And full permission, read, write, grant. And user X shares folder X with, let's say, user Y, and only gives write access but not grant access. So in take grant terms A, for instance, user X grant write access to B. Now B can sorry can to Y, not B. So in that particular case, Y can edit files in folder X but cannot share it with anyone else because Y does not have grant permission, right? So this is how it works. And um, as I said, take grant model helps in security analysis. It helps security teams to trace how access propagate in system like Google Drive, Windows, file sharing, whatever it is. It predicts if unattended user can get access to sensitive data due to excessive grant permission, right? It shows how access delegation works. For example, whether a user with grant rights can create security risk by bypassing access further down the chain. So this is how the security analysts can figure it out, how user mm, how what type of access user do have, and how they whether they can grant access to another user uh, bypassing access. So if they bypass that access, then it could create a security risk, right? So this is how security analyst comes to know. Uh, as we have learned another model in our previous videos, in previous session, uh, Graham Denning model, this take grant model and Graham Denning model, they sound similarly. But take grant model is a security analysis model used to analyze and predict how access right can propagate in system. It is primarily a graph-based model, as we can see in this diagram, right? And that helps determine if unauthorized access could occur. It does not enforce any security policy. So this model is not there for security policy enforcement. It is only for the analysis purpose to see the existing permission in the system. As we discussed, Google Drive, for instance, you have Google Drive and you have multiple folders in that Google Drive, and now you have to provide access to any other user for one particular folder. Then you need to decide whether you can provide access to another user, read access or write access, so or grant access that another user also can provide access to any other user if you provide him grant access along with read and write access, right? So this is how you can um, provide access. But the thing is, security analysis can figure it out if that Google Drive is a very critical folder and you have some sensitive data in that, and then security analyst can figure it out. Okay, so for instance, user X has access to that particular folder, that user is legitimate to have all those accesses, grant access, read or write access, because that user may create a security issue or bypassing. um, if for instance, if that user creates security, that user can create a security risk by passing access further down to another user. So this is the main difference which we need to understand. And as I said, it is a graph-based model that helps determine if unauthorized access could occur. It does not enforce, as I said, it does not enforce security policy. On the other hand, Graham-Denning model is access control model that defines specific operation: create, delete, read, grant, transfer, that subjects can perform on objects, file, resources. It is more focused on defining rules for access control rather than analyzing excess propagation, right? So take grant model used for analyzing excess propagation, how permission is spread within the system, right? And Graham-Danning model used for defining access control policy, who can do what. So there is a big difference. I uh, try to explain everything in this model related to take grant model. This is always confusing model. How does it work in real time? What is the purpose of this model? Whether it is used for policy enforcement, um, it is not used for enforcement. It is used for analysis. So, and that is that's it about take grant model. If you have any further question, any feedback on this topic, kindly share in comment section. Thanks for watching this video.